see. Check. All right. Well, I think we are back. I hope we are back. I hope everything is good. I think this should solve everything, and I hope everybody let us know if we are not coming through, but we're going to go back to Shlop. So go ahead with your feedback.
So I think just back to the dynamics. I thought I pretty much covered what I thought about that. Just getting some more like ear candy and other frequencies. That's pretty much all I could say on it. Otherwise, it was like really solid.
Natty, Evelyn, are we?
Ear candy.
Is she muted? I
I don't
Ear
know.
candy.
I'm
I
not
can't even
muted.
see her now.
Well,
think we're
she's
doing-
hidden from.
She's hidden from view like some mythical specter,
This is
haunting
weird.
of.
If you're talking, we can't
ILBC.
hear you right now.
Yeah.
What?
Something's gone wrong, but we can hear Shlop.
Okay. Weird.
Weird.
Yeah, there and I think she just disappeared.
Oh, you're back. We can hear you again.
Yes, specialist.
We missed
Are we
you.
back? Are we back?
Yes.
All right. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't think it's the internet. I restarted the connection. It seems like there's just gremlins tonight, so hopefully the audio at least is coming through. I think that's the important thing. So, let's just move on to the next one. Oh, we got Moldy Soul in here. Do you want to read the comment, Natty?
Yes, just a second. Tune was made a few years ago and has been sitting around collecting dust ever since. Is there anything in the mix that needs tweaking or changing? Thank you.
All right. SoundCloud always likes to be a jerk. There we go.
I wish I was a jellyfish, just floating perfectly through ocean mist. Transparency, a way of life, when everything is glowing light. Just take me to the moonlight. I'm so tired of faking. It's hard to keep on burning when the world is taking all this energy. Let's be low key till dawn is breaking. Wrap me in the twilight, hold me till the daylight. Tilt me through the softness, fill me with that blank space. Lead me through the darkness, take me to that sweet place. me through the softness, fill me with that blank space. Feed me through the darkness, take me to that sweet place. I dream in the quiet unknown. I'll wait for this silence to grow. So take my heart slow. Take my heart slow. Tell me through the softness, fill me with that blank space. Feed me through the darkness, take me to that sweet place. I dream in the quiet unknown. I'll wait for this silence to grow. So take my heart slow. Take my heart slow. We can be the ones to stay. Not scared away by shades of gray. It's everything to be okay. Like cloudy skies lift us away.
Oh my gosh. It's really special because we made this tune years ago, and this one, Multi-Soul, likes to just disappear off the face of the earth. So I feel like I haven't talked to them in like 2 years. And then every once in a while they do this. They just pop up and they just like do something like throw this in the chat. So hi, nice to hear from you. And we should definitely finish this freaking track. I think that needs more harmonies now, which I can do now that you've come out of the open. I think it needs a little bit more thickness, and I agree with Syndicat that maybe the guitar was a tad too loud but in the chorus, but I love the sound of guitar. To me, especially living in Spain right now, this is a perfect beach chilling song. I want to take it to the beach and chill out. I'm too partial to comment more, so I will hand it over to Shlop.
Wow, I can't believe. Wait, that was your song? That was.
Moldy saw myself collaborating, yeah.
Blame me, I approved of this.
Oh my god. I was vibing so fucking hard. I'm sorry. Like, that was so good. That was like, first of all, like, that beat was just absolute fire. Like, that was just straight vibes, did not stop the entire time. Like, it was just pure flow. And I really think you guys need to make like just a beat, like without like that beat could be used by like anyone in the world and they can do some crazy flow over that. Your original flow over it is amazing. So like it's just so good all around, honestly.
Yay, and I feel like we're getting our frame rate back, so yay. Go ahead, Nadia and Evelyn.
May I go first?
Yeah.
I mean, I found the lyrical use of a jellyfish as an interesting metaphor. I mean, jellyfish are a weird animal, really. I mean, obviously, when you see them, they're just sort of floating there casually, but they're also quite deadly. So, I mean, is there actually a subtle subtext here of you're actually a secretly deadly individual, Isha?
Possibly, but not all jellyfish are poisonous.
I mean, not to humans, but to something.
Super deadly if you're making a beat like that.
Hey, yes, it's a beat that'll make you sick. I mean, I think for the most part it's a really solid vibe. I mean, there was a couple of places towards the end where I felt like maybe the energy level dipped just ever so slightly. And with a really chill track, that can be, well, we're going back to, that can be jellyfish level dangerous. Because obviously you want to keep the listener listening through to that final section. maybe adding a more of that really cool. It's like they're like sort of glittery, stuttery stabs towards the end. Maybe pull them forward just ever so slightly and introduce them a little bit earlier. Don't have to stick to that same pattern, but it would just sort of. I really liked that effect, and you didn't use it anywhere else. So just that moment when you think the energy level is just dipping ever so slightly. You've already got the pieces there, I think, just to really have it stick with us. I think the production values were overall solid, and you play Isha's. It's sort of like your falsetto kind of voice. I know you can sing a lot more deeper in R&B when you want to, but this is kind of your upper end, and you're playing that against the bass really, really well, and that's always fun. I think it's a good vibe, and why do you never talk to each other? Release more stuff. Like, actually, just do this.
Don't tell me. Tell Molly Soul. This is his
Mr. Jesus himself. Yes, go. Stop doing this.
I know. But
your turn, Evelyn.
It was. I find it hard to comment on this because it's absolutely not a style I am comfortable in myself. But I loved it. It was so nice and so floaty and such good vibes. The beat was so good. The flow was so nice. I am absolutely sold. I was just like Shlop and Natty. I was absolutely vibing. Good stuff.
oh god, I just realized I was muted. It's a bingo card.
We need a pop-up now for muted myself.
Yeah, muted. I'm working on it. I just made this ear candy one. this week.
Are those your lyrics too?
Oh, totally, yeah. I mean, anyways, what I was saying before I unmuted myself was that it's really nice to have somebody else that can co-produce vocals, because you're too biased against yourself, like people tend to turn their vocals up or down too much and process them too much one way or another, and I think that you really I did some processing on it too, if I remember, but you took it to a really nice, delicate place. Like, it sounds really clear, and I don't think I'm impartial enough to my own voice to even process my own vocals like that. So I really appreciate it. I really like it. Hello, I have to put you in the queue. So I think we've got quite a bit to go, but I'm going to move on to, who has made this track? Natty, what are these instructions you've given me?
So, Max sent something in.
Okay.
This is I don't know whether we could call this a genuine prank or not, but Max put Nathaniel Wyvern as this. Apparently I made this.
Oh.
I recorded the vocals myself using a mic, so it's not the best in terms of quality. Which, okay, I'm very scared now if I'm being associated with this. Should I be worried, Max?
I don't know. Your reputation is about
it's about at stake now. Let's go.
I'm expecting
I'm
top
not
tier
going
memes.
easy on you.
I think we got like double memed. Like we were expecting a meme, but we got like an actual really emotional, fairly quality track.
I know I did an
feel like-
amazing job, but Max, why do you do this to us? But it was really nice, and you're just
Yeah.
making me die with laughter, thinking, oh, like.
Shlop, how are you feeling?
Oh man, I loved it. It was in classic Natty style, where it's just like this whole like cinematic experience. It was really cool. But Nathaniel, man, that bass, you need to do something with that thing, man. Like it is.
I'm
it's
sorry,
like
I'm
it's like a
sorry.
straight square wave. It's like a straight square wave with like minimal soft clipping on it. You gotta take that thing like skywards. That because like the whole atmosphere that you built up with the intro and even the break with like the Reese and the vocal chops and like this whole experience, then on that drop it just needs to like go off. And you're pretty much there. I think if you just like work on that bass, it's like it's fire. Good stuff, bro.
I'll get my ghost producer Max to get on that. We love you, Max.
Evelyn, did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. We got double memed on so hard because we were expecting something very memey, but because it was actually quite lovely. It was very nice. Absolutely did not expect that. But I did feel like is that the mixdown was very mid-range heavy. So maybe around and under 1 kilohertz. It definitely felt like it was too much there. So definitely have a look at that. And at some points I felt like the high end was maybe a little bit splashy. Maybe have a look at if you could smooth things out a little bit more above like 5K.
Cool. All right. So now that we've had max appreciation, anybody else have any any last comments for Max? Congratulations on the double meme.
Yeah, you really don't have to troll us hard.
All right. Next up,
I'm
we
sorry.
have Green Hollow. Just
I must be lagging. I don't.
No, you're actually the least laggy one. It's not us though. It's like the tech tonight. I've already checked my internet. I'm not dropping any frames. It's just some weird thing with the tech. So sorry, but I can still hear your voices and music is what sounds good. We're just interpretive videoing right now. vibes from Green Hollow. I'm definitely super partial to that like garage vibe. I think you did a really really good job with creating dreamy momentum and keeping it minimal but like not boring. So I don't know much to say on that one. It sounded pretty clean to me. Maybe a little bit fatter, maybe a little bit more saturation on some of the elements, but then at the same time I do like that kind of slightly dirty. You know, you could kind of go burial-esque with it, or you could go clean and big with it. Like you could go halfway in between, but like maybe just establishing some sort of edge to the mix, just a little bit more punchy, in my opinion. Shlop.
Yeah, that was straight up from UK Garage, Pirate FM, baby. Pew, pew. Like finger guns up. That was a classic garage song. Garage. I'll try and be British
UK
for like a
garage.
second.
Garage.
Yeah, UK Garage. That was really good. I think the drums came in a little bit hot, and yeah, there could have been more distortion, but like it's all preference. Like that's just my preference. Otherwise, I think the drums came in just a bit too hot, and then you could bring the rest of the mix up by bringing the drums down, and I think that would just like level everything out to more of like a modern kind of mix down approach to garage instead of that really old school type mix down perspective. But it's all just preference. Like if that's how you like your garage to sounded great.
Totally. Evelyn?
Yeah, really enjoyed that. Was lovely. Really like the groove of that two-step beat. Was very much in the vein of some good garage. So very nice. Do agree with what's said. The drums came in a little loud. Sorry about that. And maybe it sounded to me like maybe it was a little punchier than I would personally like for this genre, but and everyone else seems to think it's fine, so that might just be a bit of a preference on my side. What do you think, Natty?
I mean, it's hard to tell because it depends if you're really intensively played straight or not within like sets. Because I mean, garage is a DJ genre. I mean, if you want it to be easier to mix into other things, then going really hard on the drums can actually be quite difficult to help that transition. But if you don't really care about any other contexts, then I mean, it's still a vibe. I mean, there's no really taking away from that in that regard. So I mean, it could go either way, is my feeling. If that makes any sense. What's that? I mean, yeah. Garage.
Garage.
Please forgive me, anyone in the UK
Garage.
watching right now. And please come to our show in Bristol. It's going to be with Matt Black from Cold Cut and myself, Freer from Slamboree, Gramsci. We've got a bunch of showcases with the electronic music open mic community, including Nada and Furs, who apparently turns fruit into MIDI controls. Linus Fitness Center, who does like modular techno. We also have Didactic MC, really dope up and coming artist. And who's the fourth one? I'm blanking. I'm so tired right now. Well, if you go to ilbc.tv/UK challenge, you can find out a little bit more about it there. But it's going to be at Lost Horizon in Bristol on July 6th. So we're really, really excited for this. I will remember the fourth one. It's on the tip of my tongue. But for now, we are going to move on to Cross Couloir, an old favorite. And apparently, they have just reworked a song that has previously been on feedback and wants to know how to progress it. So we will tell you, my friend. right. So. So this is really hard for me to keep commenting on because, as you know, it's like very outside of my genre. I personally just like things to move a little bit more, but I realize that with techno and trance, it is a little bit more slow progression. But I would say, especially that guitar in the middle, I wanted that to evolve a little bit more quickly. Just personally, it might be personal taste, but I think you have some really cool grooves and elements, and I would just like to hear, even just super subtle, some more slight changes. But again, this is kind of more subjective feedback, so take it with a grain of salt. Coming from a non-techno person, you might just be like, "Shut up, you like ADD attention span. Go over in the bass corner with the kindergartners or something." But yeah, I think that like that mid-range acidy sound is also a little bit too resonant still. It kind of sticks out in the mix. I'm gonna let Evelyn step in here. I bet Evelyn has some pretty sound mixing advice, as she always does.
Yeah, first off, very vibey song. It's very industrial. Quite like it. It's pretty much up my alley. What I wish was different here is that while I feel like you have a good beat and your sample selection is good, there's this like old school gritty feeling to it, I do feel like your groove with the percussion and cymbals could maybe have a bit more of a how do you describe it, maybe it's sort of more of a swing to it. It seemed like a very straight groove. Well, techno doesn't really need to have like a very straight groove to it. Maybe that's just a bit of personal taste, but I feel like this sort of techno really benefits from a real more less straight groove, as it were. And mix wise, I think you should really watch your bass levels, because I can clearly hear the master distort when your kick hits. The low end on this is quite high, and I feel also like your high end and your upper mids are dipping into more of a harsh range, so I would cut more of your upper mids and high end out of this. What do you think, Natty?
I mean, compared to the last version, it definitely is getting a lot closer. You're right, it sounds more professional. So, I mean, good job, and definitely don't feel downhearted by any of the other comments here, because you are making progress. Like, progress is progress, can't be faulted. I think for me, the element I'd like to see more evolution from is that almost, it's almost like a funk guitar sound. Like it goes, bring, 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 bring.
I think that's the acid song, the acid sound that Alicia was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely. I'd like to see some more changes in there, and maybe just timbrally, rather than focusing entirely on filters. Maybe look at your envelopes more than anything else, and allow it to become either more sustained in places or more plucky in places. And I think that could be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't know, it sounds sort of like a guitar in places. Maybe an acid line, but it's just sort of has that quality to it. Yeah, so I find it hard to critique techno as well. I don't listen to a lot of techno. But
Shlop,
I mean,
do you listen to any techno?
Do I listen to any techno on my free time? No. But have I been to a techno rave? Yeah, I've definitely been to a few techno raves, and like there's techno that I listen to and I'm like, I hate this, and then there's techno that I listen to and I'm like, this is some good techno. So to make this good techno, I would just follow basically all the mixing advice that Evelyn just gave you, and you can still achieve that that really fat, loud, bassy kick that like hits you in the chest when you're standing next to those subs, you could still achieve that without clipping your kick to absolute garbage, which is basically kind of what happened with this. Like that kick was just all out of whack. And then in my opinion, the song needed, and I say this more than ear candy, I say tension elements need to be built, and there needs to be like these moments in the song that are just like, whoa. Otherwise it's like a filler song, or it's just like tedious to listen to a little bit. Like there needs to be like that build up where like the filter just like takes the drums away, like you had at the end for that like really long kind of arduous outro, where you could have used all that space like within the song to kind of break it up more, because otherwise it was just like boom 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 for like the entire song until it just like all went away for the outro. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're feedback and friends. We all have a different perspective on music. So again, take it with a grain of salt. We love you, but it's good stuff, and you can evolve it even more. Just keep working on it. Next up, we have Alfie. So another favorite. And Alfie, would you like to read Alfie's comment, Maddie?
Yep, this is an older release, but I've been told that the vocals and the beat sound separate. What can I do to counter this? Thank you.
What can you do with a drunken sailor?
مش حاسس بنفسي وبحاول اعيش لو انت تتأخر ارجوكي ما تجيش دماغي لما احلم انا كوابيس انتي مش هنا وحشاني وتعيس حياتي دي فيلم متصنف كدراما محدش سمعني انا بكتب في الصولة حبيتك عن نفسي نفسيتي الخسرانة مش قادر اتكلم اغاني وصلالة الدنيا بتعلم شبعت في دروس ربك ابتلى بالليل مش بشوف محدش يقبل يبني واتوب اعتذر لنفسي ان صعب ان افوق طالع من حتة مش عارف اوصفها لساني ده بيرفض بس قلبي اللي فاهمها الناس دي جنبي ولوحدي بشيلها لوحدي في السكة للأسف كبرت نجحت في حاجة وقعت في التانية بس وعد انا خوف روح المرة اللي جاية احتفل واسافر وتشيلني رجليا دلوقتي انا واقع بس النت مش جاية نفسي احلامي تتحقق مرة كان نفسي اخدها كان نفسي اجرب احيانا دلوقتي بخاف من الفرحة مش زي ما بنهزر ونرجع نتعاون وارجع للصالة واكتب واطلع انت بتغني مش سامعك مش طالبه محدش مهتم لو حتى هتوفر مشاعرك دي كدبة مشاعرك بتحاول حياتي دي فيلم متصنف كدراما محدش سمعني انا بكتب في الصالة حبيتك عن نفسي ونفسيتي الخسرانة مش قادر اتكلم اغاني وصلوا مش قادر اصدق ان انتي كويسة بس طول بتنسي قالولي بعتك اسراري معاكي ومشيتي من هنا مش هحب من تاني لو حب كان كده اخترت طريق ومحدش كان فاهمه بحس بالغربة والخلق بيعدوا مش قادر اركز في نفسي بيتخانقوا وقلبي وعقلي عليكي بتنافس ترندي بتعدي بتعلم الاصل والقلم بيغير بتحول الأسوأ نفسيتي في الفرن والغل بيحرق اتعلم الدرس تعودش ازار تعودش ازار تعودش ازار تعودش ازار تعودش ازار حياتي دي فيلم متصنف دراما محدش سمعني انا بكتب في الصالة حبيتك عن نفسي ونفسيتي الخسرانة مش قادر اتكلم اغاني واصلة حياتي دي فيلم متصنف دراما محدش سمعني انا بكتب في الصالة حبيتك عن نفسي ونفسيتي الخسرانة مش قادر اتكلم اغاني واصلة اغاني واصلة اغاني واصلة اغاني واصلة لك اغاني واصلة.
All right, Alfie. For all those asking, it's Arabic, and really good stuff. Again, I love the vibe that you've got going with this beat. I think if people are saying that they don't fit in the same space, it's because the production of the vocals is a little bit more like I like the telephony effect, but it's a little bit harsh and it kind of breaks you out of that beautiful space that you're creating with the beat. So I would almost experiment with some reverb and try to put yourself more in the vocal, more in the same space, because literally think of like the beat and the vocalist as if they were live, as if it was like a place in front of you, like you want them all to be in the same space. So what defines space? What defines depth in a mix? Reverb, panning, Schnitty is actually saying remove some reverb from the vocals so that the beat and vocals sound like they're in the same room. So yeah, you could either dial down the reverb on the vocals, dial up some reverb on the room, use sends, right? Aux effects, and send a little bit of each thing. That can also glue it together in the mix. Shlop, how do you feel about that?
I mean that song was like arranged really well, and like it was super vibey, even though I couldn't understand what he was saying. Like I just enjoyed listening to the flow overall, and like how it developed a little bit and came to a nice conclusion. I think maybe just the mix down, if you listen to it as two parts, the vocals can come down a little bit, the beat can come up, and then you could kind of develop the space of that beat a little bit better, I think, if it's more forward in the mix, and then you can like hear the vocals better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Natty, what are your fixes for putting vocals and production in the same room?
I mean, often I just relies a lot on parallel processing, and then just using two separate buses to sort of balance out what the effect you want, and then everything else. And sometimes it's okay. I mean, I think it's a lot of it's in your drums more than anything else. Like if you got your bass and a lot of recorded music, the bass kind of just is fairly dry, but it's your drums that sort of end up conveying the space, and then if you can sort of relate them to the vocals, that feels better, if it makes sense. So I mean, I definitely have a look at that relationship more than any of the other ones, because I mean, people often take creative liberties with everything else.
Ariel is asking in the chat, can you go into more detail on parallel processing? So I'll let you finish and then I'll keep going.
I mean, I'd also just hold off on layering all the time. You've got a lot of doubling going on where they've recorded a couple of different takes. And I found in the last year or so when I've been experimenting with this, that it's better to just keep that to emphasis words rather than the entire time. It allows you to gain a little bit more clarity and focus in the way you present your vocals. I mean, comping is useful, but it's more of a making sure every individual word is right. It's not that you have to layer everything all the time.
Agreed.
So that's my best advice right now. I mean, you can then indulge us in some parallel processing talk, because you're good at that.
Parallel processing. Well, parallel processing is just a really good way to balance out, right? When you want to preserve the character of something, but you want a little more of something. So for the vocal, I think it would be cool to blend, some of that dry telephone signal. You could send it to a bus with a really cool reverb and automate and gate the reverb and just do a lot of really interesting things with that. I might let Shlop take over for a second, because do you do a lot of parallel processing? Do you have any techniques for that?
Yeah, I mostly just do straight up parallel processing, and I'll have these long chains with a lot of stuff going on, and each plugin or audio effect that I'm using is kind of it's pretty strategic. So it's just something that like the more you play with it, the more you get the kind of sound that you're looking for, like quicker. And I think that this vocal chain that they're using is definitely like it's an effect. It's parallel processed. It just could go a little bit more like fine-tuned and maybe go a little bit further in the processing, and then bring it all back with EQ and gain staging and the mix and all that stuff.
Good advice, my friend. All right, so we're moving through the queue. We've got Salvati up next. Does Salvati have any, the mix is what they want feedback on, I think.
Yep, that's correct.
What would you like to read the little comment?
I'm aware it's a little messy, but I'd like you to approach the song at face value.
Okay, fair play. All right, So, SoundCloud being a jerk. There it is.
Out of breath, but I trust that you figure out why. You keep me down to the ground. I'll shed a tear for you to know I'm around. And when the sun goes down and the filter comes off, don't leave me hanging on the things that you told. Cause I told you not to catch me with my head in the clouds. And I told you not to find me playing music too loud. I remember when you told me to keep my feet on the ground. And I tried to find the words to say I'm feeling so fine. Something very profound.
favorite part right here. This is genius. You need to bring this in sooner. Yeah, I love the vocoded vocal with his guitar chops and those synths. This is the best part of the whole song for me. I was about to say, like, I wanted it to go to a place like this. So, man, I think you're super talented. I love all the ideas you have. I'm almost like overwhelmed with how rich your music is, you know? And I think that at times you have a lot of like high-end synths and they get a little crazy. Maybe some dynamic EQ. We need to make another button for that, but maybe some dynamic EQ would help here, because there are certain frequencies, like certain notes that are just really piercing and then others that are okay. So if you put a dynamic EQ on it, like TDR Nova, you can make it only react to that specific piercing frequency. So that would be my main recommendation. Also, I think, overall, some the drums could use maybe a little more beef. Maybe some parallel processing. A good example here would be to do some parallel compression. So send it to a compressor, smash it in that compressor, and then EQ that signal a bunch, and then mix it back in with the dry signal so that you have a lot of this like bite, but you still have the original dynamic of your drum. So that's an example of parallel processing occasion. Shlop, what'd you think of that one?
Yeah, the drums could use a little work as far as the snare goes. I think I understand that's like the vibe, this kind of like super electronic poppy vibe, and that snare kind of like fits the bill, but also it just doesn't do anything for the mix in terms of the drums. And those like piercing frequencies that I was getting a lot too, my ears are like really sensitive to that, was because you were doing like melodic vocal chops and like two synths and possibly a melody all at the same time, like constantly through the chorus. And it was like all those different sounds stacking on top of each other. You had some spikes in there for sure. So I think individually parallel processing all of those sounds based on where they lie in the frequency spectrum is going to do wonders for this mix. And I think that's pretty much it.
Evelyn?
Yeah, very nice song. Was very enjoyable. I have to admit I zoned out like half of it because I was dissociating a little bit, to be honest. But I do agree with Shlop saying that it was quite piercing. I would just both just regular EQ and for those little harsher moments, dynamic EQ a little bit, that would really help. And what do you think, Natty?
I mean, while I was listening, I was trying to think of what would be useful references for a track like this. I mean, you have the really obvious Western stuff like Madian. I mean, I think mainly his first album would probably be the place to look for. I mean, things like Years of War. Oh no, that's Paul Robinson. That's Paul Robinson. What was Madian's? My brain's forgotten the names of the tracks in Madian's album. Anyway, he's got some stuff on there. Like the first track on his album is pretty hefty sounding, and vocals are similarly sort of upper frequency ranges. But then I was also thinking maybe have a look at Capsule. There's a song. They're a Japanese duo. Yasutaka Nakata is the guy who produces for that in the duo, and then he's got his lady singer, and there's a song called Flashback. That's got lots of very heavily vocals in it, and it really pumps, like it's a really, really aggressively driven mix down and master. So I mean, I think that would be another good, because I feel like you got that really pretty outro section, but I feel like that would work best if it's really placed up against a really heavily aggressive mix in everything else. So it's sort of like you're really pushing it, and then you're giving us that breathing space. And I think that for the sort of vibe you're going for, the wall of sound into the airiness would actually really benefit.
Yeah, yep. Very good advice, everybody. That is a beast of a track, though. Congratulations. So, yeah, I love to hear as you keep going with it. There's one more thing I was going to say. Oh, so the other day I was trying to fix this mix, and I just couldn't put my finger on what was wrong with it. So I actually kind of went deep into the comparison. Like, I had Madian as a reference track, and then I was like, I still don't get it. So I actually went and watched a couple of tutorials of, like, picking apart the layers of Madian, just to be like, is there something in my layers that I need to fix? And I came across a tip that a producer said to use Melda's free tune plugin, and just to automate the formant shifts on certain vowels of words, and I think that could be like, that is the coolest vocoder effect, is to have these emphasized performance shifts. So I would suggest maybe trying that. I thought it was a really fun tip. And we're gonna move on to Galaxy. Would you like to read the comment, Nathaniel, please?
Yes, please. Just a second. Boop, boop, boop. I've been people keep asking me where the place in the queue is. Okay. This was a remix I made of a Friday night funking song called Game Over. Most of the composition was done by the original musicians, but I changed almost all of the instrumental aspects and made it more EDM. It's much more fast-paced now. I made specific sections where it switched to chiptune, then switched to a YTPMV section with samples of voices and stuff used as instruments. I have no clue what YTPMV sounds, but I mean, I'm assuming it's something nice and cool. So let's have a go.
I'm gonna go for a quick toilet break.
Okay.
Let's have a go, indeed. Evelyn should lead on that one. Seems most Evelyn's commenting. Wow.
I have no idea how to comment on that, I'm going to be honest.
What you managed to hear overwhelmed you, huh?
Yeah, and I'm also not feeling very good. I had a bit of a weird arrhythmia, and since then I've been having a little bit of a panic attack.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's okay, Evelyn. Just take it easy.
Yeah, and she was gone for like half of it too.
Oh
so.
yeah. So don't worry, Evelyn.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, that song had like 10 sections in it, or I lost count, honestly. And it was all in like that 8-bit kind of style, where everything was just like bit reduced and just like straight up crazy wild video game music. I mean, I thought it was pretty fun. Like, if you're gonna make a song like that, like they did it. They went and got it.
Yeah, I think it was like a little too chiptune-y, maybe. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
didn't
for
hit
sure,
hard
for sure.
enough.
I also felt that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think mixing this sort of music is hard. Because you like simultaneously want it to sound full, but you don't want it to sound like it's hi-fi.
Yeah, it's a fine line, right?
Yeah, it's a really, really tricky line. I mean, it was the sort of thing where I'd end up just making multiple versions of the file to figure out which balance actually does work best, and I'd just play them back off each other, effectively.
Yeah.
Because, I
and
mean,
reference.
until you really hear it, like, you know, and say, okay, I'm going to do the super uber clean one, and now I'm going to just sort of do the one that's I'm okay playing a bit dirty. I mean, like, where you sort of deliberately play into the grit. And then you sort of say, okay, maybe those aren't it, maybe I'll in between it, if that is the case. And then it makes the decision better, because, I mean, it is still a creative choice. It's not this is a technically bad or good mix down. It's what does actually fit the song. I mean, it's close, it's very close. But, I mean, like, yeah, it's very tricky. I find that, especially 8-bit-esque stuff, when you're not actually using software or hardware that uses those sounds, and you're doing it entirely just because you feel like it is hard to get that balance right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun remix, though. It is a fun remix.
It definitely is. Yeah, the fun, but like needs a bit more heavy, modern kind of production and things like that. So I'm having an issue with this one. I'm gonna just turn on my Brave browser for a second, because I'm not logged into Spotify, and I don't really have Spotify. So in order to get it played through, I have to hook up. So Evelyn and Natty and everybody, mute yourself for a bit, because it's going to double up if you talk. But once the song is done, I'll put it back to normal. All right.
I'm not here to start a war, I'm just here to start a union. Union with yourself, first and foremost, what you doing. We live in disconnect, go outside, talk and listen. Find yourself in others, boy, just right that friction. Boy, don't keep your chin in, keep your chin up. Look into the eyes, it gives you spins, Humanity divine, but also sinners. They'll eat up off your plate, then go home and eat dinner. I'm not here to start a war, I'm just here to start a union. I'm not here to start a war, I'm just here to start a union. I'm not here to start a war. I'm just here to start a union. Hard to start a unity when they are booing me. Many missed opportunities, it sounds like news to me. When you clicking with communities, it clicks so beautifully. Time to write up on your eulogy, like you who to me. Accessorize himself so beautifully, like you jewelry. Self versus self, it sounding like a mutiny. War or unity, talking war or unity. War or unity, talking war or unity. I'm not here to start a war, I'm just here to start a union. I'm not here to start a war, I'm just here to start a union. I'm not here to start a war. I'm just here to start a union.
Well, that was very, very nice indeed. Hopefully that doesn't get us a strike, because it is already released, which is why it's Spotify. We usually say we can't do that, because even if you're cool with it, your label, even if it's like DistroKid, All right, you should be able to unmute yourselves now. It's just anyways, I really liked it. I thought it was dope. Totally chill vibes, great sounding stuff. Vocals were a little sharp. I agree with Mr. Tekaneer, but overall, I definitely love the spooky feel and vibe of it. Shlop, what'd you think?
I was vibing that whole time. And then Jinzu said, when I asked if it was vocal samples, like that the whole thing was him, or that was them, and like that was a great song. It's hard to like critique something that's already released because, I mean, it's out there, and you know, nothing that we say is probably gonna change it. But maybe for the future, just work on your, like I think I was saying for one of the last, the Arabic rap song, just work on just think about your song in two spaces, and that's just vocals and the beat, and make sure that that level is where it needs to be. Yours wasn't as drastic as the last one that I commented on, but I think maybe another like couple of tweaks, couple of tries on the master, and it would have been fine. But super talented. Yeah, that was a vibe and a half.
Agreed. Natty?
I mean, my biggest feedback is basically that the beat could have done with a little bit more of a broken up feel to it in places, like more fills. It was a very static beat throughout the whole track, and while I think your overall tonality was nice, it would have helped spice it up just ever so slightly. And apologies to everyone, but we're going to have to call it short on the video front from this end. I will be still tuned in and responding by text, and we hope you'll have a wonderful evening. So thank you for having us.
No problem. Natty, will you help me with
love
the
you
group
guys.
I should be able to if you just give me a second. I've given you a buffer space, so I'll be able to get back in a
Perfect.
second.
Have a good night. We love you, Evelyn.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. All right.
Have a good night.
Bye,
All
Shlop.
right.
Get well.
So, next up, we got Horace Aaron, and the track called Werewolves. It says, rough demo, please don't hurt me. Nobody would ever hurt you. We love you here at Feedback and Friends. They're very nice people. So, let's check out this demo.
Have you ever talked to a corpse? It's boring. I'm lonely. Supernatural. The power of darkness. It's all true. The undead. The undead surround me. I'm a fucking werewolf! Undead surround me. I'm a fucking werewolf! I'm a
All right, so we got Horace Aaron. Sorry, I didn't update the now playing pin populate, but the artist name is Horace Aaron. Let me just put it on screen because apologize. Was just there we go. So I won't hurt you, but I mean I think that now you're at the point where you need to do polishing, right? Like the ends of sections, I notice, like the ends of phrases are sort of a little bit awkward, like they're kind of just glued together and they're not really coming across as fluid. So I think the next thing that you need to work on is like the transitions between the edges of things, and then of course the timbres. Like I like that vintage jungle rolling bass and stuff, but I think that it does need to evolve and be clarified a little bit because you have that old school sound, but now I would like try to put a little bit of a modern production edge on it. So yeah, I think I can add one more from Aznadel. We'll see how far we get. Shlop, what did you think of that tune?
Also, I think Shwilly just entered the chat.
Oh, Shwilly!
If he wants to submit, I would really like to hear what he has. If we're adding like one or two more,
Okay.
But yeah, cause yeah, that's like, I think he's in Denver too. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so the last track that we should feedback, that I should feedback, is just the arrangement was jumpy. I really like the break beats and the use of the break beats, and I thought the vibe was pretty cool. Just like the overall feel was just like, it was jumpy. Like I think I said it like way earlier in the stream, if you can find a reference track of like what you are going for in that style, like, or three, like as many reference tracks as you can get and like bring them into the DAW, and like, and then from there kind of like learn from the artists that you enjoy their sounds and how they arrange their song, and try and fix what's off about your song using the reference points from other people's music. It's not cheating, it's not frowned upon. Everyone should do it. It's how we learn. Art is just constantly learning from other people. The only thing that we all have in common is that we are learning every step of the way. And that's a good way to do it.
That is, I totally agree. Cool. Well, I think, it sucks not having Evelyn and Natty here, but it will move a little faster. So we'll try and get through as many as we can and see, I can't go super, super late, but I can do, we can see how fast we can get through it. So, all right. Succinct is the name of the game. We're going to go to Gaspar Poet, just jamming out with the community. All right. Good to hear from you. Well, and I have to actually watch this ad first because I don't have YouTube Premium. All right.
Cheaping out over there, huh?
Oh yeah, you know me. My video will begin in 2 seconds. All right. have much to say about this. I mean, if I were nitpicking, maybe the bass could be even a little bit warmer and bigger, but I love your melodies. I love your resolutions. I love the instrument layers. It's beautiful. I'm floating. I don't know about you, Bob.
Yeah, it even took oh, Nathaniel's back. Natalie's back. It took me a second to pick up my mic because I was still in just straight vibe mode, even with it playing in the background still. It was, especially the beat, man. Those drums, man. They were popping. They were making me head bob my way through that entire thing. The vocal chops and the chain that you're using on the vocals is super fire, and like the whole atmosphere of the track, like super simple, and like I could imagine myself like bumping this down the road, like summertime vibes. Good work.
Yeah, totally. I love this. I would definitely like summertime. I love all these summer songs. They're just making me so excited to go out again. So I really love it. Nice. Thank you for sharing, Gasper Poet. We're gonna keep moving. Natty is literally keep moving. Natty is taking us on his adventure home to his hostel in Amsterdam. This is great. This is like intrepid reporting on the spot. Woo! So, okay, cool. So I'm going to move into the next one. Sorry, just balancing the cue is always a little tricky with everything else, but I think we're on Baco Bibizo. This is a cover of a song called 2 Feet, or Love is a Bitch by 2 Feet. They are saying, I made all the sounds from scratch, including the drum kit. Don't judge the vocals too harshly. It was my first time singing. Right on. Singing is hard. Singing is brave, but I think everybody should do it. And so, wonderful. Natty, welcome. Thanks for taking us home, and we will check this out.
I don't sing.
I'm flying high like a bird, but my fluttering wings can't keep you from pulling me down. Your mama says I'm a fool. And yeah, maybe that's true, 'cause I can't stop thinking about you. To forget my words, 'cause when I'm around you, I tend not to change in my mind. I promise myself not to slip back into old habits, 'cause heartbreak is savage and love is a bitch.
That's extremely enjoyable, my friend. I really love that guitar vibe that you have going on. I liked a lot of things about that, and bravo again on your first time singing. Now, here's the thing. as I said before earlier in the show, it's really hard to be objective with your own voice. So what I would really like, one of the things that I do a lot is use channel strip plugins, and I don't do this a lot. Like I like to make my own combinations of plugins. But when it comes to vocals, I'm so like biased when I'm editing myself that I would kind of like the help of like presets and guided things just to get me started, just to get me off my own trip, you know? So I use things like Nectar or CLA vocals or just like kind of all in one things to give myself an idea of where my voice could go. And I sort of flip through all of them, and then that inspires me to start tweaking and working more, because I think your vocal really needs to be like brought up. Take advantage of the intimacy and that whisper quality of your voice, you know, like really take advantage of that and get up closer, because I think the guitar part is super, super dreamy, you know. Zariel is saying, I would almost want to hear this with 100% analog instruments. I agree, that would be super cool. Shlop, what did you think?
I think the song overall was really cool. It had like a certain vibe and it followed it through the whole thing. I think just in my mind, like, and this could be all preference, I'm not really sure, but I think that the song could have gotten moved along a little better, like specifically in the percussion area, because it was just like that boom cat boom boom cat, like that was all that was really driving the song. And I think maybe like with like a hat roll or like a drum fill or like some like a couple of perks here and there, maybe kind of moving it forward a little bit, then it wouldn't have felt so like static.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like, honestly, that's just being nitpicky. That's just being nitpicky, because like it was a vibe and it worked really well.
Cool. And I don't know if Natty can talk or if he's just sharing his beautiful journey.
I should be able to.
What a trooper!
And, am I coming through okay? Hey!
Yes.
Hello! Live from Amsterdam's transit system. I'm amazed it's working. I've also been pasting links in Isha's DMs as well to handle the queue, so you know, you can't say I'm not determined to get this right. Anyway, I managed to listen to all of that one. The last track was also really good, so I was able to listen to that on the way down via Twitch itself, so I enjoyed that one. Just a big shout out there. This one, I haven't learned the original, and it's a cover, so I mean, it's kind of hard for me to judge it in that context, whether you've gone through and actually remixed it or played it faithfully. But as it sounded now, it sounds fairly natural, like it's meant to be the way it is, so that's a really good result, regardless of whether, you know, you're going to get people who hear the original say, yeah, I don't like it, doesn't sound like the original, or that goes too far. I mean, I think at least in its own context, it sounded great. I do agree that if you are going to do it like this, that it could have done with something just sort of in that upper energy levels to help it flow further. But your overall balance of the track was really well done. So, I mean, aside from Isha's vocal feedback, I don't really have a huge amount to add there, so good job.
Wicked. All right. Cruising through, trying to get through everybody in place. We have Aerosol, one of our favorite Discord mods, human beings. Break Blast Choir Thing, V2. Did Lysol have any specific feedback, Natty? Because I don't see any. Oh, Natty froze. Well.
They did not.
Okay. All right. Let's just go right in. Well, that was a very abrupt ending that took me by surprise.
Damn.
Woo! Yeah, my first feedback would be, just let that ending ring out a little bit because you just slammed me against a wall and then you're just releasing me all suddenly. It's jerking me back and forth. Yeah, epic. I think that I really love those breakdowns and those like kind of harpsichordish sounding synths, but I want like in that case some kind of low foley-ish noise to balance out that like upper sparkly sharp range because I feel like I want like the full spectrum and I want to like open up and feel like the room that you're in before the relentless slamming comes back down. So like I want like dirty lower textures. I want something more organic to balance out the purely synth stuff so that when it drops in like it's a better transition, you know, like you pointed out. Shlop, what did you think of that one?
That was a lot. In a lot of different ways. So like I was saying, it didn't really fall into a genre like right away to my ears, which I mean, it's not technically a bad thing. Like you're kind of like in like these uncharted waters right now, which is kind of cool. You can definitely play around, but you still have to like kind of take structure from what came before if you're gonna like do these different things, and you have to like kind of work with that arrangement style. I keep going back to arrangement style and reference tracks. Even if you're making completely new music that no one's never heard before, there should still be a reference track to work off of, just to keep it familiar. Otherwise, people just are gonna reject it if it sounds too different. But other than that, I think sound design wise, I'm not sure if you were just slamming all your sounds into a limiter, or if that was part of your post processing and you wanted them to be clipped like if I was a sound, like you'd be chopping off my head, like that kind of a clip.
Quote of the night.
Yeah, they were slammed, those noises. I think you definitely should be a little bit more I'm struggling to find the word, just because it can't be subtle. You can't be subtle when you're designing trash can rhythm sounds. You just have to be more finessed, I think is the word. And otherwise, like, just keep having fun. Like, sounds like you're having a lot of fun writing music, so just keep doing that.
Natty, do you have any quick comments? No? Natty's cutting it in.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
No,
I mute myself.
I love this.
It's a bit hectic trying to get off a tram and do this at the same time. But hey, okay, so I've actually heard of a lot of Lysol's music, and I would say I'm generally a fan of what he's trying to do. And I really appreciated that this one didn't sound structurally like his previous things. I mean, as well as I suggested last time, just really sort of throw expectations off. And I think that overall your mixing up of your sound palette and your progression of the arrangement is really well done here. I mean, I do agree that it's basically just a case of finesse with your sounds. And that's a fantastic place to be in, because it really is that final 5%.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And so, I mean, it's a really awesome track. I mean, I think this is probably one of your best pieces so far.
I agree. Yeah. So, good job, Aerosol. We love you. Next up, all right, well, Shlop, if you were just dying to roast somebody, we have our eternal roast lover, Zine, up next with a track called Kygo Goes to Africa Part 3. This is the producer who brought you Hyundai Sonata music is now back with a vengeance.
I haven't been roasting already. Oh man! All right, I could get my roast on.
All right. I mean, look at this artwork. The new Hyundai Sonata improved. All right, Shlop, did you go to Africa? Were you right there with Kygo and his Tygos?
Yeah, I was at a music festival in the middle of the safari zone or whatever. No, it was good. It was uplifting. It was tribal. I don't know. I don't know. It was good. I liked it. The mix obviously just could use a little bit of work. Getting those levels where they need to be, like adding width to your main sounds, messing with how some other sounds and frequencies sit in the mix, and yeah. And then I think, and it was kind of unfinished. I think, right?
Usually they are. Use whips.
I'm not really sure. It seemed it. Yeah, usually. I think it was pretty unfinished, and yeah, just take it a little further.
Nathaniel, did you feel like you were about to go buy life insurance, or were you moved a little bit deeper? Was this a journey that you wanted to take?
I mean, this one, this is getting a lot closer. I mean, this feels a lot more like a festival track than the stuff he submitted previously, and it's honestly really exciting. I love when you get to hear someone who's starting out on their personal creative journey flesh it out and figure out what sort of things actually work towards what they want to sound like. And seeing you're getting closer, it is actually really is getting there. I mean, to have most of the comments be related more to the mixing is a fantastic place to be in.
Yeah, and I am really just kidding, because you always ask me to roast you, but I do think I agree that you have definitely upped your game. You have improved a lot. So yeah, don't stop. Definitely not. Thank you as always for submitting. Thank you everybody, and thank you Shlop for being so cool and being such a great guest. Next up we have Threevil and a track called Broken. And what exactly is this comment? Continue or become a carpenter? Is that a threat? What's wrong with being a carpenter? Know. I mean, I'd be happy to be a carpenter if I thought I would actually not like cut my fingers off, but whatever. I like that idea. All right, Threevil, let's hear you go. So, Threevil is claiming that this is their second track. That's crazy, my friend. This is like the most lovely, beautiful.
What?
What? I
How is that
know.
even possible?
I don't know. I do agree with Zine.
Lies.
Wow. Maybe the drums are too loud just a bit, but I mean, they punch. Like, this slaps. I did not start slapping until like probably like my 10th track, you know? Like, but wow. Shlop.
It took me a lot longer.
Wow. What do you think, Shlop?
I was so happy when this turned into a drum and bass song. Because I couldn't have told you in the beginning that it was going to be a drum and bass song. But then it just all of a sudden became drum and bass. I was like so happy. I was just like, yeah. Initially, I think just like there could have been a little bit of like a tell that that's the vibe this song was going, because like it was kind of like a switch up. Like once you put the drum the beat over everything that you have been using, it made so much sense. But up until that point, like there was just like no indication where the song was kind of going, and then you just like dropped us in. Second song,
Yeah,
like,
I know.
that
What a piece.
that kind of build up and tension and release will come to this person like in no time. They're gonna be making fire drum and bass tracks. Like, it's their job if they keep this up.
Yeah, like this is really incredible. Natty, did you have any thoughts?
I mean, it was a really nice vibe. I also liked the choice of little fast piano arp usage. I thought it added a lot of character and soul to the track.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued. If that's your second track, I'm very intrigued about what you're going to be doing next.
Seriously, those
I mean,
strings.
Do you have
Oh.
any previous background in music, like of any instruments or anything? Because I mean, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, no, it was really like sophisticated and beautiful and like brought me to some kind of place, and like that is just such a lot to get right on your second track, you know? It's freaking amazing. So just keep doing it. I mean, don't even sweat. That was beautiful. So listen, we had a couple of second submissions from people, but we ran a little bit late with some of the issues and stuff. And look, every week we do Feedback and Friends from 8 to 11 p.m. GMT here on Twitch, ILBC_TV. We are doing a show in Bristol really soon, July 6th at Lost Horizon. Check out LBC.TV for more information. We are going to close with a longtime favorite and good friend of ours, Sir Schwilly. He's got a track, Smooth Operator. Oh, I'm ready.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
With this track is also with Beacon, who is also really cool. So excited.
Ooh, what a note to close on. That was beautiful, smoky, chill, late night vibes. And look at Natty. Like, could he be in a more perfect backdrop for this song? Like, you are illustrating this track, my friend. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very, very trippy and spacey, and yeah, it's definitely perfect for this sort of environment. I mean, I actually wanted to just sort of sway to it, but it's a bit difficult while I'm trying to walk as well and hold my camera steady. And, I don't know whether, I mean, it's hard to tell with Signal whether I'm getting a perfect quality here, but I didn't really pick out anything noticeably off with the mix. So I think that's pretty solid. I mean, I don't know whether you guys can concur with that one. I think your pacing was fantastic as well. Like, it generally just sort of kept moving, but it didn't really lose sight of what it was trying to do. That mood didn't change. It just sort of tweaked itself slightly as it progressed to keep everything going. And I think he did a fantastic job.
I agree. Shlop.
Oh man, I absolutely loved it. You know, it was that classic vibe that Shwilly always gives, that experimental dubstep kind of straight through the beginning, and then with another drum and bass switch up, which was so fire. Absolutely loved that. Again, just like super pleasantly surprised with how this song just turned into drum and bass. I thought that was so cool. I think this song had like 3 sections, that experimental dubstep vibe in the beginning, and then the drum and bass middle, and then the back part was kind of like a combination of experimental dubstep and kind of drum and bass. I think that if you like commit fully to the drum and bass on that third section, like keep it drum and bass but also add that experimental in, I think that would just keep the song moving in the direction that I think like you were going for, which was like start, middle, and then like a big end. I just feel like the drum and bass beat kind of like fell off on that last part. And if you just brought it in full force, I think that might be another direction. Otherwise, like, bro, like, you're killing it. So I just loved it, honestly. And the mix was so deep and like perfect.
Yeah,
Good
it's
stuff,
really
dude.
cool. Is Shwilly in Denver too? Yeah, I think so. It's like that's on. Anyways, that was a beautiful way to sign us off for the night. Big thanks again.
Yeah, he's in Denver.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm coming back to Denver soon. I'm really excited. I think the announcement is today, so I can say that I'm going to play at High Ground Festival on September 10th, 11th weekend in Denver. So it's going to be my first gig in the U.S. in like 3 years or something crazy like that. So excited.
Oh, I can't wait.
Real chill.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy you a festival beer if we meet up, and possibly I could have a tie-dye for you too. What size shirt do you wear?
Like a medium. Sick. Oh,
Perfect.
So cool. So yeah, if you don't know Shlop, check out Shlop. Post your socials in the chat before we go, and we'll put that up there. But Shlop is music, visual art, all kinds of things, multi-talented, and I cannot believe you only started producing in 2020 because your stuff slaps hard too. So check out Shlop, check out Nathaniel Wyvern on the go, our intrepid reporter from, where are you, like outside your hotel in Amsterdam?
Yeah, I'm just literally right outside the door. It was easier than trying to faff about with the door code. If anyone likes watching me wander around aimlessly around places, I've been doing a lot of random streaming. I've got actually a smartphone gimbal, and it's rather handy. I've been experimenting. Definitely, if you like that sort of randomness, I have that going on my Twitch and my YouTube channel. So if you like that, thanks.
Amazing. All right. So check out Shlop, check out Nathaniel Wyvern. If you are in the UK, check out the ILBC UK Challenge. And we will be back next week. Nathaniel will be visiting me. So we will have Nathaniel at my place.
Yep.
So should be super fun. Thank you again, Shlop. And everybody, have a good night.
Have a great night.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you. Bye.